in testing their game.
I basically like more history and everything, diplomacy, geopolitics.
Yeah, I like all that.
You like all this. The war history.
Yeah, very fun, you know. Also, I've been getting
Yeah.
back into cars like a lot. I like cars a lot.
Once you were young, you always wanted to race car, cars. Once we had to keep on of the road, wherever we used to go.
Yeah.
So we used to start when cars were there.
Oh yeah, I love cars.
Confidentially, we bought the car.
Whenever I see a
5,
car, now my
4,
dream car
3,
is
2,
a
1,
Porsche
go.
911. They're fast and cheap. They range from like 60,000
2 right,
to
into
over
2
like
right,
498,000. Yeah.
narrows,
It's even it's nearly more expensive than a Lamborghini. Yeah.
More expensive than Lamborghini.
5,
Yes.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. 2 right, into 2 right, narrows,
Also, yeah, I think to be honest though,
4 right,
apparently the Germans thought that apparently the Germans thought like Americans were apparently no actually the Germans in World War II actually knew about the atomic bomb. They knew a lot about the atomic bomb.
Aha.
It's that they never bothered to, like they never actually bothered to, do it. They never were like, hey, you know what? I know. I'll do after this. But they were never like, you know what? Let's make this a thing. Let's make an atomic bomb, guys. What do you say about that? Even Hitler knew about it. He was like, you know what? I might think about that. But he never actually did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
So why yesterday I was watching during the Second World War, why US dropped atomic bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima? Why not Tokyo?
It's because they wanted a person they wanted the leader alive. They wanted Hirohito alive, They wanted him alive to like negotiate.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And they wanted like a small but very well populated but small dense they wanted they wanted like a good one. They're about to do they were even thinking about Osaka. Now there was even plans for a third bomb, but by that time Japan was like, you know what, we're dropping out. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's the reason that they wanted to have a small target.
Yeah, they wanted a small
But
target,
but strategic target.
Yeah. Also, I think you heard about this, right? The Spitfire. You know about the Spitfire, right? But apparently the British were like, you know what? Let's make a better one. So they made like a better version of the Spitfire. It's called the Hurricane. Also, there's an animatronic. Chuck E. Cheese, right? Like all those animatronic robotic entertainers, right? You know about them, right? So they actually bought a company called Showbiz Pizza, and they're actually one of the rarest pizza restaurants in the U.S. I say rare because they're actually still around. It's because one of the restaurants of Chuck E. Cheese actually were like, no, we're not becoming a part of you, Chuck E. Cheese. We're gonna do our own thing. So Billy Bob's Wonderland was made in West Virginia, Barbersville, I think it was called. Yeah, Barbersville. And I was like, this is a piece of history right here. These animatronics see more history than me. They're actually older than me. They're actually made in the 60s and the 70s.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that having a piece of vintage history that's older than me actually is better than to have nothing of it. But there's even a museum where they have it, and they actually do shows for it. It's like a normal restaurant sort of thing, you know. And
Okay.
sometimes sometimes restaurants are like, you know what, fine, we'll join you completely, and there's no trace of them, like none whatsoever. There can be like a fast food place like Chuck E. Cheese called Bananaria, and we would never have known about it, like nothing about it, because they completely wiped their history clean, like a clean slate. Like you know how you wash dishes, right? Yeah, basically that's how clean of a history they just wiped off.
Yeah, exactly.
So having a piece of vintage history from all those days ago, I meant years ago, is a better it's good. And not only that, but having to see that there is some, you know, history still left of like these vintage looking places, you know. It's great to see that they're still around. Otherwise, they would have been completely gone. So I'm glad, you know, Billy Bob's Wonderland is still around, because actually that's straight up copied and pasted. And I'm pretty sure the creator was like, you know what, I'm glad at least a piece of our history is still around. I bet you he's happy. He's just happy to know that a piece of his own work and creation is still around.
Yeah. And it's good that, you know, we all know these things, eh?
Yeah.
So I think the world scenario and international relations are going to improve with the Trump.
Oh yeah,
Things,
for sure.
The wars are going to end soon, and I think there's going to be international level peace. The impact is going to go everywhere.
Oh yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure Trump is one of the very first few presidents to actually go to North Korea. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's only him that has ever gone to North Korea, because he actually scared North Korea. It was like, they actually called him and they were like, hey, we have a big red button and we're not afraid to use it. And then he was like, oh yeah, guess what? So do I, but mine actually works unlike yours. And I'm pretty sure they got terrified, because I bet you they just do it to every nation. They just scared the living crap out of them. And I'm pretty sure they do it in NATO sometimes. I'm pretty sure they called the US and were like, hey, North Korea terrified us, help us, help us. I'm pretty sure it went something along those lines, I'm pretty sure. And then then it happened to America, and guess what happened? They terrified them instead. Oh, and also I'm pretty sure this happened with the Philippines too. And then this also happened a few years ago. The North Koreans were like, we're not gonna attack you, South Korea. all happy, jumping for joy, right? No, they're actually scared. Like, they would actually piss their pants if they ever heard of that news. So yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure this has probably happened a lot in history, but I bet you Austria has blamed Germany for like literally all the world wars, even though they were the ones that started it all. They had an Austrian man do it. They had an entire. It actually was only the people that had it happen. Man, I'm like so surprised that a whole nation like Austria could bring down another nation like Germany. I'm actually quite surprised.
So what do you think that Greenland, if it joins America or the Canada, it becomes the 52nd or 51st state? So it will be a great thing.
Alright, so what I think will happen is that actually there's like a very small sliver of chance that will actually happen. But let's say it does happen, right? So
Yeah.
America buys Greenland because, you know, Denmark subdues and says, we'll let them join you under some conditions, and they agree to those. And then literally moments later, they were like, they would use the resources there. So yeah, that's what would be used with Greenland. They would also use it for a strategic base to keep things at bay in the Arctic and the Arctic Circle, basically. So basically, like, you know, like that cold white line, and like basically in all the nations in the north, mainly Russia, Alaska, and Canada, you would see that white line. That's the Arctic Circle, basically. And it becomes like this actual living habitat during the winter, actually, during like those first few months of the winter, and like in late December and early January, that's where it like really hits. Then later on it starts to melt, so then everybody starts to leave, but some stay behind, like the sea animals, because, you know, obviously the ocean is there and they live in the ocean, so of course they're not gonna leave, and they're not planning to either. So yeah.
Okay. So first, there is a very less chances that the Greenland would be added to the US. Or let's say if US agrees to buy it, or, you know, on some terms and conditions, it will be very difficult also to sustain, or what?
Definitely not that hard to sustain a nation that's like been under Danish rule. Probably not. But the Americans did occupy it for the majority after like Denmark died. They were like, you know what, Denmark, we'll occupy Greenland for you. So they occupied Greenland. So then they occupied it, and they're like, hey, can we? They didn't give it back. Of course, it would also give it back. You know, they're nice people. We're like nice people. And now America regrets the decision of giving it back.
Okay.
Because they wanted like this key moment in like this place where they can have a good place, have a good point in the Arctic Circle. Because Russia actually owns the majority of it. Obviously they're the largest, so of course it makes sense. My dream car has always been like different, right? But I actually think the Porsche 911 is good for its reasons that are obvious. You know, I already said that it's like cheap and fast.
Hmm. So what do you think? The second thing, the Panama Canal.
Oh, the Panama Canal. That's an interesting topic, because the way that ships actually cross through it is actually pretty interesting. So basically, the first thing they do is they raise water levels and decrease it, so that way the ship could go through.
Yeah.
And then the ship goes through, and I think it goes on for like 15 to 20 minutes, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but I'm pretty sure there's been like times in history where like, actually there was a time in history where like the Panama Canal didn't even exist. The only reason why it does exist is because everybody needs a good spot to go through and not go down to the tip of South America, like the south part of South America, and not have to go through all that immense pain and suffering of like having to go through the ice. So they just built this canal in Panama, so that way ships could just go through.
Okay.
And make it easier for all of us. And the same thing goes for the Suez Canal. It's also a man-made one to make traveling easier, because obviously no one wants to go through the rough journey of going down to the tip of South Africa, then go through the Atlantic Ocean just to reach a port in England, just to give some goods, then do the whole trip back to China. No one on earth wants to do that. So to shorten the trip, everybody goes through the Red Sea and goes through the Suez Canal, which is owned by, I think, Egypt. Egypt. And ships pass through.
Yeah.
The Suez Canal. And I don't know how they do it, but I think I know how they do it. So basically they open these gates, I think, and they let the ships in. They check if it's good or bad, I don't know. And then they let them into the Mediterranean. Then the same thing goes in Gibraltar. Actually, I don't think there's a gate in Gibraltar. But they go through Gibraltar. Then they go ahead and go through the Bay of Biscay. Then to the English Channel. Then they reach their port in England, or wherever in the English Channel, the North Sea, the Celtic Sea, the Baltic Sea, the Norwegian Sea, whichever sea you need to go to, or whichever place you need to go through, the Mediterranean, the Suez Canal exists. But I'm pretty sure everybody has to do it the old-fashioned way now, because of Hezbollah and the Houthis. But the Houthis are now becoming more dangerous, because now they have figured out a way to use. Actually, I've been using these rockets for quite some time, but they basically use these rockets that can actually go all the way to Israel. That's actually their farthest that they have ever been. That's been their farthest. If that doesn't scare anybody, I don't know what will, because that's been their farthest they've ever shot.
Right.
And
So coming back to Panama Canal, so
Yeah.
I just want to how much is the Chinese influence and how that can be reduced?
I think it can be reduced by declining any Chinese ship access. Also, I think we have to end this pretty quickly here, like in 1 or 2 minutes. So yeah. basically, all to summarize is that actually I need to go to the to end this quickly off here. So let me just pull up the maps. Right. And any of the viewers can also see this, so don't worry. Alright, this is all on my phone, so the past footage of me playing that racing game and that 1940 game, that's actually phone controlled, so yeah. So, the Suez Canal. Let's see. So yeah, basically you go through this tiny little river, which is the Suez Canal. Then the little bitter lake. Then you go to the Great Bitter Lake. Then you go through this process right here, up through right here. Then you get to Port Said. And then you exit and enter the Mediterranean and into Europe. Then I'm pretty sure after some days of going through, you then reach this point in the Mediterranean, aka Gibraltar, which is actually just a piece of rock island, which I don't even know why anybody wants this. I haven't seen some actual photos of Gibraltar. This is actually a piece of rock. As you guys could tell, I don't even know why anybody wants a piece of rock. I guess it's because it's more strategic. It's called the Europa Point thing. And basically it's the closest, I guess. Even though Tarifa is more closer. Yeah. But enough of that. Back to topic about, this whole thing. You then exit through, you go through, then you enter the Atlantic Ocean, and then you enter wherever you need to go through the Bay of Biscay, then to the English Channel, of course, and wherever you need to go on the coast of southern England, wherever you need to go, you go through the Suez Canal in order to get through the Mediterranean, in order to get to the Strait of Gibraltar, in order to get to wherever you need to go in Northern Europe. And now let's say you need to go to South America. Now, you're not a dummy and a stupid, idiotic moron and goes through this northern part. Unless you're not like that and you actually are smart and you go through this southern area to get to South America, then you're okay, And, yeah. Whew. So, yeah. Also, let's quickly look at the map of, the Ukraine map. Ukraine war map. Live. We are gonna look at the live interactive map of Ukraine. So, oh wow. Where is? Oh yeah. Oh, right here. So, this right here is what I used to look at the Ukraine war. Now, this is what it looks like. The Russian troops near Kharkiv are probably going to get squeezed out. Probably. But the Kursk Oblast Ukrainian troops are getting slowly but surely squeezed out. And these guys right here are just chilling. Well, I think they got pushed back a little bit. So I guess everybody's getting pushed back a little bit. Oh yeah, in case if you're wondering, guys, the blue is the old borders of the war. Alright? See this? Literally at the gates of Kyiv. They're about to reach Zelensky too. Until 2023, the year later, it got pushed back and to Belarus. They then got pushed back to, I guess, like all the way over here. Then Russia had to make defensive positions in the north and decided to hold out. Then they attacked in the north and absolutely plunged, as you guys can see. So yeah, this is the current borders of the war. As you could tell, Kharkiv is in a dangerous position. Don't worry, I'm nearly done. And yeah, so turn this all off. War is bad. China is spreading influence through social media. Russia is spreading its influence through its military power. And it's absolutely insanely fast jet, hypersonic fast missile arrangement. Yes. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. Peace out. Alright, Daddy. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's great. It's a great vlog, and I'm sure the viewers will like it. It's a
Yeah.
great information. Thank you, Zach.
Bye.